Hey heathens! King Heathen here with an episode of When Bible Thumpers Attack. Alright, so I'm perusing a website that was sent to me by one of my kick-ass subscribers. You know who you are. For a Dennis McKenzie, who wrote an excellent book. From what I have heard so far, I have not found anything negative said about it yet. But I have not read it, so I can't tell you that it's a good book, but I'm telling you from the reviews that I have seen that it is apparently a very good work, called The Encyclopedia of Biblical Errancy. And Dennis mentioned about how if someone came to your door and knocked on it, ticking you off Saturday morning as you're trying to sleep in, wanting to talk to you about Jesus, and you tell them off and slam the door in their face and they leave. He said, so do you think you won? No, you didn't win. You lost. You had the perfect opportunity to make this person take ownership of their book of fallacies, and you let them walk away. You didn't. He mentioned that he would grab them, pull them in the door, lock the door behind them, and let the fun begin. Which is exactly what I do. The Bible thumpers in my area have learned to steer clear of my house. Let's just put it that way. They come to my door and say, hey, we want to talk to you about the Bible. I say, sure, no problem. What do you want to know? But anyway, in that and talking with this lovely person, it got me to think about a past time when this happened. And I thought it was amusing enough that I should share it with you. Here's what happened. A mother and her two daughters, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 and 16, I guess they were, showed up on my door step. There was a knock. I opened the door, and there they were. And she was wanting to invite me to her church. And I said, well, thank you for the invitation, but I'm not sure that I'll go. And she said, well, why not? Now, this was during a time period, this was right before I realized that there was no God. I was probably a deist at this point. But I was very convinced that the Bible was full of crap. So she wants to know how come I probably won't go. I said, well, I've pretty much figured out that Christianity is worthless and that there's nothing valuable in any church that you could send me to. She seemed shocked at my reply. But she asked, well, why do you feel that way? I said, well, let's face it. There's more corruption in the church than in any other organization that I could personally think of. There's also more flaws and inconsistencies with the belief system in Christianity than anything else that I can think of. Not to mention the fact that I've yet to go to a church that's supposed to be so accepting and loving that I walked in the door and people didn't look at me like I was some sort of an outcast. The hypocrisy that is involved in every single organized religion that I have seen so far to this date in my life has been overwhelming. She looked at me with very consoling eyes and understanding and said, well, perhaps you should just give us a chance and see if maybe this is the thing you've been looking for. Her daughters behind her, who had that look on their face from the moment I opened the door of, why are you dragging us here? What is wrong with our mother? I hope none of my friends see me. As I was explaining the fallacies of their mother's religion, and her mother was looking at me with those consoling eyes going, Her daughters were behind her going, so, word of advice to all the Bible thumpers out there, don't bring your kids with you, because I'll turn them into atheists.